So I got everything back at the house and took the disco apart, pulled the chuck off, um, inspected it, and basically the only real visible damage is the camera. The whole camera blew off, and you have the sensor, and that's pretty damaged. But the P-dot's still there. None of the plastic running up to the chuck. Still stuff's falling out of it, but there's no noise, nothing, no internal components that are audibly rattling inside of the chuck here. It'll be interesting to see how it calibrates. This is the nose of the disco. It's got some scuffs right there, but there's no real through and through cracking, which is very impressive. There's no indentation of the nose piece into the actual chuck there, and don't worry, these are burn marks from the iron when I put the protective coating on. But yeah, everything seemed to have held in place, which is actually pretty interesting. I'm curious to see whether or not this added to the structural rigidity of the airframe and allowed it to handle the extreme stresses of that. But I have noticed something with the wings that I really didn't pay particular attention to, and it's the bow in the wings there. If you can see, show you a little more of what I'm talking about here, and I never really paid attention to it until I had this little oopsie. But if you look, there's a bow, and that could just be how they were, but I don't think so. I want to say that these got bowed somehow, but that would have had to mean there was a lot of heat and pressure involved with that, and there wasn't really much heat unless the sun was hot enough to warp the wings. But curious to see how it'll fly after this. And yes, I will have it flying. I've been doing some research on getting a camera replacement for it. I haven't been able to find a disco specific camera, so we may have to get creative with it. I know basically this is just ribbon cable attached to a little platform. So, very interesting. It's already been powered up, and I transferred files off of it, and it wasn't screaming at me, throwing any erroneous errors or anything like that. So, very curious to see what this will actually do. So, I'm going to get this back into flying shape and test it out thoroughly before I put it back up in the air, but super surprised that this thing just didn't detonate upon impact on the ground. These are already actually there. So when it did hit, as you saw in the previous video, basically it just, everything dispersed. Anything that could come off came off, and that was pretty funny. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. We'll see you next time. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you know where I could find a Parrot disco camera, let me know that too, because I am currently in the market to buy one. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Auto mode, manual mode, auto mode, manual mode.